Trauma. What is trauma? Going through a painful event, series of events, things that leave scars in places that you can't see. Breakups, losses of friends or family. Being hurt by total strangers. I mean, trauma comes in many forms. Trauma comes from, being single for too long. Trauma comes from just about everything you go through. Whether it's a huge trauma or a little trauma caused by someone else or caused by yourself. It's just something that we have to heal from. And we do it in many ways. For a long time, I healed my trauma with, drinking or doing drugs. Back as a kid, like, I don't know if it was like the neglect from my parents, if it was self-esteem, ridicule from other kids. But I found comfort in a mind-altering substance, and through the use of that, I became someone that I wasn't. I was able to get out of my own head, and I was able to escape reality. And then throughout quite a bit of my life, that was my go-to. That was my escape. Things not going right at work, losing a job, things going bad in a relationship. I always found ways to be able to escape myself, and happen to live with what it was that I was going through. And then through that escape, I found more ways to, just kind of take away the pain of everything that not only others had put me through, but mostly myself. What I put myself through. And I convinced myself that using drugs and alcohol was acceptable, and that as long as I kept using, then I wouldn't have to deal with the hurt that I had. Because the drugs and alcohol didn't always take away the hurt. It just numbed it enough to where I didn't have to worry about it so much at the time. And then the next day would come around, and everything would still be there. I still was right where I was. I didn't go anywhere. And I caused even more problems for myself. So then I'm just like I'm just like digging a hole deeper and deeper, trying to escape the reality that I live in. And it eventually got to a point where I just couldn't escape anymore. I had nowhere else to go. I had no one else to blame. All I could do was just accept the fact that I was where I was. And that if I really wanted to find some sort of peace or happiness in life, I wasn't going to find it in a bottle or a drug. But unfortunately, I've also learned that I'm not going to find that happiness in other people. I can find happiness in people. I can find a joy of being with them. But I can't find happiness inside myself through others. And that's a hard reality, to realize that happiness comes from who you are and being okay with who you are and accepting who you are. There's a lot of things that were really hard to accept. It's hard to accept that I'm not like antisocial, but I ain't fucking outgoing when it comes to wanting to like hang out with people. It's hard to accept that, you know, when I lost my tooth, my front tooth, this one, that one was a fucking kick in the ass towards like my self-esteem. Like, I didn't smile for a long time. Like, at least like, no, it was always a closed mouth smile. Even then, I'm still self-conscious about it, but I've gotten to the point where I'm okay with who I am, or at least how I look. But I mean, there's other defects of character inside of me, and one of the biggest ones is loneliness. And no matter how much like I believe in my God, in my higher power, there's a loneliness there in my heart. And there have been times in my life where I am perfectly okay with being alone. So I'm in a process of like, I'm in a process of healing through the neglect in my life from myself and from other people, from the heartache of who I put my time and energy into. Because when you put your time and energy into someone, you know, it's worth it until it's over. And then once it's over, the hardest kick in the teeth comes from, you know, was that person really worth my time? What did I get out of that? And I can look back on that and be like, you know, I've learned to be a better friend. I've learned how to have friendships that were not centered around drugs and alcohol. I've learned that, you know, I don't mix with everyone. That, common interests are a big factor when it comes to friendships. I have learned how I want to be treated in a relationship. That no matter who I end up with, they're not going to be perfect. And they're not going to live up to the expectations that I put in my own head. And I need to learn to, accept the fact that they are who they are, and that they are, they are worth me giving my best for. And sometimes my best is a lot. It can be too much. And then because of that, I don't feel like it's reciprocated. And that the effort that I get is, just not good enough. There's a lot to learn from every relationship I've had. Through my parents, through friends, through girlfriends, wives, my children. But the biggest thing that I have learned through all of that is that they're all flawed, just like me. And that the only person that I can truly be happy with is myself. And until I can learn to truly be happy with other people and who they are, I am going to continue to hurt people. It's a challenge. It really is a challenge to be able to accept other people for who they are. And it's not their fault. It's completely my fault. Because also part of being an addict is I want what I want right now, and I don't care. And it's a hard thing to really it's a hard thing to live with. It's hard to be able to find peace in my mind. It's a hard thing to be able to fill my soul. To do it all myself. I wasn't meant to be alone. None of us are meant to be alone. But fuck, through everything that I've been through, with all of my different types of relationships, it would have been a lot easier to know all this back before all these different relationships started. To know that people were going to hurt me. To build up these walls around me. And then to have someone come into your life that you want in your life, and hold them to standards that, you know, there's no reason they need to live up to them. So yeah, I'm a work in progress. Always will be. Because the one person that I'll fight the most in life is me. The one person that I'll hurt the most in life is me. And how to get over that, I just don't know. I mean, what? Spend the next 5-10 years just by myself? How's that help? That'll really push me away from people. That'll really make me put up my guard. That'll really make me hold high standards to whoever does come into my life. Do I just let it all go? And how do I live each and every day like letting go? It is so fucking hard to just let go of everything. How do I just live in the minute? Live in this moment. It's not like I can stop my brain from thinking. It's not like I can stop my heart from hurting. Can't stop my body from aging. So yeah, other people may have caused trauma in my life, but you know what? I caused the most trauma in my life. And I allow it. And a lot of times I don't know how to stop it. I just need to find ways to cope, like talking about it, to let it out instead of holding it in. So every time I hold something in, it eats at me. It really eats at me. And it's not good. I just need to figure out like who to talk to when I'm going through certain things. When to talk instead of holding on for too long. Need to figure out what to talk about when I talk. It's not that I need to be careful with my words. I just need to be able to find understanding in myself, with others. Healing is not easy. It's never easy. So that's all I got.